Today, we're diving into the murky waters of environmental hazards which can be lurking in the hallways of your workplace. Environmental hazards refer to any substance, condition, or activity that poses a threat to the surrounding environment, including air, water, soil, wildlife, and including ecosystems and human health. These hazards can stem from natural events such as earthquakes, hurricanes, or volcanic eruptions, as well as human activities such as pollution, deforestation, or climate change. On the other hand, workplace environmental hazards specifically refer to risks and dangers present in a work environment that can negatively impact the health and safety of employees. These hazards can include exposure to toxic chemicals, unsafe working conditions, poor ventilation, loud noises, ergonomic risks, and inadequate personal protective equipment. These hazards can have detrimental effects on the health and safety of workers as well as pose risks to ecosystems and surrounding communities. Examples of environmental hazards in the workplace include chemical hazards. Exposure to toxic chemicals such as solvents, cleaning agents, pesticides, and heavy metals can lead to acute or chronic health issues. Improper handling. Storage or disposal of these substances can result in contamination of air, water, and soil. Chemical hazards become environmental hazards in the workplace through various pathways. Workers may also be exposed to these chemicals through inhalation, ingestion, or skin contact, leading to immediate or long-term health effects. Chemical spills, leaks, or accidents can release toxic substances into the environment, posing risks to both workers and the surrounding area. Occupations that involve handling these substances, such as industrial workers, agricultural workers, cleaners, and laboratory technicians, are at a higher risk of both acute and chronic health issues. It is crucial for employers to enforce strict safety protocols, provide proper training, and ensure workers have access to appropriate personal protective equipment to minimize the risk of exposure. Regular monitoring, proper ventilation systems, and safe disposal practices are essential in safeguarding the health and well-being of individuals working with toxic chemicals. Efforts should also be made to raise awareness among workers about the potential hazards associated with these substances and promote a culture of safety in the workplace. Biological hazards. These hazards involve exposure to biological agents like bacteria, viruses, fungi, and parasites. One primary way is through improper handling and disposal of biological waste. If infectious materials such as blood, tissues, or bodily fluids are not properly contained and disposed of, they can contaminate the surrounding environment, posing a risk to both workers and the ecosystem. Another common way biological hazards become environmental hazards is through the release of pathogens into the air or water. For example, if a workplace utilizes biological agents in research or production processes, there is a risk of accidental release into the environment. This can lead to contamination of air, water sources, and soil, potentially impacting wildlife and nearby communities. Also, poor ventilation or inadequate sanitation in work environments can allow biological hazards to proliferate, leading to increased exposure risks for workers and potential transmission to the surrounding environment. For instance, mold growth in damp workplace conditions can release spores into the air, causing respiratory issues for workers and contaminating the indoor environment. Another example is agricultural workers who are exposed to a variety of biological hazards while working with livestock, crops, and soil. These workers may come into contact with bacteria, fungi, and parasites that can lead to disease if proper hygiene and safety measures are not implemented. By recognizing the potential pathways through which biological hazards can transform into environmental hazards, organizations can proactively mitigate risks and ensure a safe and sustainable work environment. Physical hazards. Physical hazards in the workplace can become environmental hazards when they have the potential to negatively impact the surrounding environment. For example, a spill of hazardous chemicals in a factory not only poses a direct physical threat to workers but can also contaminate soil, water sources, and air quality, leading to environmental pollution. Likewise, improper handling or disposal of materials such as asbestos or lead can create long-term environmental risks by releasing toxic substances into the environment. Additionally, accidents involving heavy machinery or equipment can result in spills or emissions that can harm the environment if not properly contained or cleaned up. Air quality hazards. An air quality hazard in the workplace can become an environmental hazard when the presence of contaminants exceeds safe levels, putting workers at risk of health issues and impacting the surrounding environment. One key concept is the airborne transmission of pollutants, which can spread through ventilation systems and affect not only workers but also the broader ecosystem. Poor indoor air quality due to lack of ventilation, presence of pollutants, or contaminants can cause respiratory problems, allergies, and other health issues. Common sources include emissions from machinery, building materials, and improperly maintained HVAC systems. Hazardous waste. Hazardous waste becomes an environmental hazard in the workplace through improper handling, storage, transportation, and disposal of wastes like batteries, chemicals, and electronic devices. This can lead to contamination of soil, water, and air, posing serious risks to both human health and the ecosystem. Workers in various industries are at risk of being exposed to hazardous waste, increasing the likelihood of environmental contamination. For example, in the healthcare industry, improper disposal of medical waste such as syringes, contaminated materials, and chemicals can result in the release of harmful substances into the environment. This can lead to pollution of water sources and soil, affecting the health of both employees and the surrounding community. Similarly, construction and demolition activities also produce hazardous waste such as asbestos, lead-based paints, and other toxic materials. If not handled and disposed of properly, these substances can pose a significant environmental hazard. In conclusion, hazardous waste becomes an environmental hazard in the workplace when proper protocols for handling, storage, transportation, and disposal are not followed. Identifying and addressing environmental hazards in the workplace is crucial for creating a safe and sustainable working environment. As a wrap, the distinction between environmental hazards and workplace environmental hazards lies in the scope and proximity of the risks to human health and safety. While environmental hazards impact broader ecosystems and populations, workplace hazards directly affect employees in their immediate work environments. Both types of hazards require thorough assessment, monitoring, and implementation of preventive measures to ensure the well-being of both ecosystems and individuals in their respective contexts. Addressing environmental hazards at both the large-scale factors and localized factors is crucial for promoting sustainability, health, and safety in our surroundings. This holistic approach requires collaboration between governments, businesses, communities, and individuals to implement effective strategies that protect both the planet and its inhabitants.